Hello, everybody. Welcome to our conversation. Today is a fireside conversation, so I'm doing this from home today. So it's going to be kind of a family meeting, especially for the people who are into public speaking, professional speaking, keynote speaking, and storytelling. So it's going to be like that. So let's know where you're joining us from, even as we proceed. And to our LinkedIn family, you're welcome. To the Facebook family, you're equally welcome. And to the YouTube family, you're welcome. So to begin, let us know which platform you are joining us from. And of course, your country. Let us know which country you're watching us from and the platform you're joining from. Okay, if you're joining from LinkedIn, just indicate. If it's from Facebook, let us know. If it's from YouTube, let us know. All right. So today we're going to be looking at common sense, like common sense, common sense, common sense. And it's going to be very exciting. So looking at common sense that actually can save you and I. Common sense that can save you and I. And so I want to start with this quote. The quote says, common sense is not so common. Voltaire says, common sense is not so common, says Voltaire. So we're going to be looking at some key things which they actually come as common sense that can save your life, save your career, save you and your entire family from future hurts, from chaos. So, but before we proceed, let us know where you're watching us from and which platform you're watching us from and which part of the world you're watching us from. So just do that on the chat session and then we're good to go. Okay. So who is the first to show up on the show for today? Okay. So, my dear friend, today I want to look at some 5 things that they actually like common sense that you have to just practice and then practice them all the time. And I remember growing up as a young man, my mother has always told me that you got to do what is right, even when no one is looking at you. And I'm always fascinated by those words. You got to do what is right, even when nobody's looking at you. And when my mother says that, I never knew what she was talking about until now. I'm beginning to understand the impact of these words. You got to do what is right, even when nobody is watching at you. Victor is watching us from Liberia. Hi, Victor. Momo, you're welcome, my brother. How is Liberia doing today? Pretty good. So it was very amazing. And so what that is one of the things, common sense teaches us. Do what is right, even when no one is watching at you. Just do the right thing. That is common sense. And so, like Voltaire would say, common sense is not common. It's not common. One of the reasons why a lot of people get into trouble every single day, they're running into bad debts every single day. They're getting divorced every single day. They're getting into terrible mistakes every single day. It's because of issues around common sense that some people really think it's just common, but it's not common. So what is common sense? What is common sense? So common sense, like you hear the name, it's common and sense. It is actually common sense. It's actually a lot of sense. It's not just common because it is that sense that you actually need to be able to take basic decisions in life, to be able to make realistic decisions, to be able to make informed decisions, based on your past experiences. So it will never be common if you never experienced that before. So it's based on your past experiences that it makes it common. So it's something you're familiar with. It's in other words, common sense could be seen as something that you know, that you have to do it. then you are not doing it. Something you know that you have to do it, but you are not doing it. So that could be common sense. So for instance, right now, what do you know that you're supposed to be doing that you're not currently doing it? You know that this is the right time to start doing this thing. You know that this is, I'm the one to do this thing. You know that it is just but normal for me to do it. Nobody needs to remind me. Nobody needs to ask me to do it. Nobody needs to notify me or send any alert notification to me to do it. But you just have to do it. But yet you are not doing. But yet you are not doing. That is common sense. That is missing. That is lacking. So what are the 5 things that I would love us to look at when it comes to common sense? The first thing I would love us to look at is this: trust action, not words, not just words. Learn to trust actions and not just words. Now, you'll be amazed to know that people may say the right things, but their actions reveal their true character. Pay attention to patterns, not promises. You know, I learned this lesson the hard way, and I learned it some years ago from Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah says this: when show you who he is. When someone shows you who he is, who she is for the first time, if someone shows you dishonest, most of the time, that is always the case. If you notice patterns of dishonest along the way, if someone shows you for the first time that he is disobedient, most of the time, you will see patterns of disobedience. If someone shows you for the first time, most of the time, the person will rebel. If someone shows you for the first time that there's some aspect of integrity in him or her, most of the time, as well with you see integrity always manifesting in him. Have trust, not words that they give to you. Trust. So learn to trust actions, not words. That is common sense. That is common sense. Nobody needs to tell you that you have to do that. You just have to figure it out for yourself. You just have to reason it out and then believe what you see. Because what you see most of the time is always what you get. And so you have to use your intuition. If you're a Christian like me, with the help of the Holy Spirit, you should be able to discern, somebody from the first time before you go about working with the person. And so what this means is that human beings are very unpredictable. The fact that you're working with a human being and everything is going well today, things are fine, there's joy, there's happiness, everybody's excited, doesn't mean that tomorrow they cannot change their minds. And so when you're working with human beings, you always have to most of the time, you could have a plan B. Most of the time, you never put your eggs on one basket. Most of the time, you have to be very sensitive, to the conversations they're having. Like I said, watch the patterns. Where's the pattern? Because most of the time, the actions which are the patterns speak louder than what they're saying. And so what that means is that you have to trust people, but you have to be careful who you trust. And that is common sense. So if somebody shows you a sign of who he is, at a certain point, you just have to believe that that is truly who the person is. And this is a secret or a strategy that the military used to identify criminals or to arrest criminals. They use these patterns. And they can ask you in the military, I'm not doing the military training, but I've read so much about military and all of that. They can ask you one question 5 times in this, and then they give the same answer. Now, when you change your answer, that they will capture you. That's when they know that you're not being honest. And so, when people show you who they are, for the first time, believe them, because that's exactly 99.99% of the time, that's who they are. It's true that there are situations where people at times could change. People could change. People could change from a bad attitude, from a bad character, from a bad behavior to a good one. But most of these cases are rare. And most of the time, it's always a very, very insignificant percentage of people who change within time. that it actually change completely. And so you have to watch out actions and patterns about the words that people give to you. Because at times, as a professional speaker and someone who trains speakers all around the world, most of the time, body language is everything. Because from the speaking industry, body language alone is 55%, words only 7%. So what people say is not really too important to what they mean than how they say it physically, with their facial expressions, with their hand gestures, with the eye contacts. That's so important. So be wise. So the second thing I want to talk about is don't spend money you don't have. Living beyond your means leads to stress, debt, regret. Save, invest, and spend. Now, this is. I am not an expert in when it comes to finance, but again, the finance people will assure you that there is not. What I want to put is like just be honest and authentic with your life. There is no reason for you to fake. There is no reason for you to fake. When you are faking it, you will always pay the price. Some people say it, fake it until you are able to get it. I don't believe in that philosophy. So you need to be authentic, you need to be honest, you need to be sincere, you need to be genuine with your life. There are a lot of people that have missed that destiny purpose because they faked it. That destiny purpose came to you and you faked everything. And they thought probably that they were talking with the wrong person. And that's how they left you with that maybe having the impact that they were meant to have in your life because you faked everything. So you may be listening to me right now and you're currently using somebody else's profile picture on your Facebook or Instagram or whatever. That's faking it. That's faking it. You're using somebody else's identity over your own. You may be listening to me right now and you actually you keep telling people, somebody calls you and you're like, hey, where are you? And you're like, I'm in the X place while you're in the Y place. That's faking it. And so that is not going to help you, my friend. So you have to repent from that lifestyle of faking it until you make it. You have to that has nothing to do with the law of attraction. It has nothing to even do with believing. No, when you're believing something, it has to be, you have to be real. You can actually believe something that is not true, but not by faking it. So what's the difference? There's a thin line between believing something that is yet to come by faith and then faking it. For instance, if for those of you who are Christians, you understand the story better. But if you're not a Christian, you can read the story, In the book of Genesis, when God asked Abraham to offer his son, Isaac. So Abraham could not believe that this could actually be true, that I sacrificed my child. But he went ahead by faith, he took the son to the altar. And so at the verge of killing Isaac, God made a provision. Now, what's the point here? That was faith. Now, if Abraham could have faked it, it could have been this way. He could have told God that, yeah, I'm going to do it, carried Isaac along with him, and then without the intention to actually sacrifice Isaac. That could have been faking it. Because if he loved Isaac so much more than he loved his relationship with God, he could have actually faked it by telling God that, okay, I'm going to do it. And then he gets there and he must have not taken the knife or the wood or all the other things that he took along, including the 3 slave boys. That's faking it. And it's not going to help. So common sense is be authentic with you, sincere and authentic with yourself. All right. So, you always come your way when you're honest. And again, there is nobody who loves to work with dishonest people. I mean, even dishonest people don't want to work with dishonest people. It's really crazy. But again, especially in Europe, in Asia, and here in the the moment, so it's not good to fake, just be yourself. Because the moment someone notices that you are not sincere, you're not honest, it's over. And most of the time, those relationships can never build again. They cannot be again. And so that is leading us to our third option. Choose your people you surround yourself with can influence you negatively or positively. That's common sense. So common sense is that be honest, be genuine, be sincere, speak the truth. That's what common sense is. And so if you're not using common sense, you can fake it, you can try to pretend, but you know the truth. You know the truth. What you're saying is not true. So by common sense, just say what is true. And so that takes us to the third point. Choose your circles wisely. The people you hang around with can influence your life. Oh my goodness. I used to hear so much about this, but I never knew the magnitude, how powerful that could be. The people you hang around with them can influence your life positively or negatively, significantly. So common sense is that if you notice some bad habits or poor attitude in a particular friend, and you advise a friend to change, and he is not changing, what do? You have to flip the coin. You have to let go of that relationship. Yeah, you have to let go because you don't want to destroy your reputation. Because when they see you with that friend, hanging around with that friend, they would think that you are doing what he is doing or what she is doing. So if you don't want to have a bad reputation, hang around with people who have good reputations, and that is common sense. So you have to choose your friends wisely. You got to choose your friends wisely. And that is so important. Choose your friends wisely. And nobody need to tell you that. When you see those people, there are some people that when you see them in the name of friends, something is telling you that, hey, this is not a good relationship that I can get into it. This is a good relationship. So you have to just, be able to decipher those relationships and then choose which one is actually the best for you. Second to the last thing I want to talk about is think before you speak and react. Most of the time we find ourselves into serious problems and serious confusions and serious chaos just because we acted before we thought about what we did. And so wisdom says that just reflect, just think, and before you act. That's what the wisdom says. So what is the wisdom saying? Don't react immediately. Most of the time when somebody hurts you or angered you, do something really weak to you, most of the time if you want to retaliate immediately, it will always skyrocket into chaos, into a big mess. So common sense says that pause for a time, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and just within the 3 seconds or 5 seconds you have to breathe in and breathe out. You can have a better idea on how to handle the situation or how to solve the problem. So it is absolutely important for you to always make sure you measure the magnitude of your words before you go about bringing the words, because words are powerful and words can destroy and words can do unimaginable things that probably is not thought about. So you have to be wise how you use your word. There are situations where you don't have to talk. Yeah, stay quiet until you have the right thing to say. Because the moment you want to talk, immediately as you want to talk, I bet you can destroy relationships, you can destroy a lot of things. One of the things in my life I'm very grateful for that God has given me is the kind of wife He gave me. There are situations where we were at the if of certain things, certain decisions, and if maybe something happened, like something happened, and so my wife was not happy, neither myself, I was not happy. And so one of the ways that situation was saved and we proceeded to do what we had planned to do, what we had to do, was just because nobody was talking. So when I'm angry, she doesn't talk, and when she's angry, I don't talk. I just keep it. So it takes us some time to reflect and see, okay, who was wrong, and then we apologize to each other. And that has saved a lot of things, and that has really saved us from missing out some really amazing, great breakthroughs that we could have missed out if we had to just go about talking and shouting to each other. So talking and shouting has never helped, and it will never help. And so the wisdom says that, common sense says that, just stay calm and be quiet, breathe in, breathe out, reflect about it, meditate about it, and then before you give an answer or before you respond to that. I don't intend this to be long. I just want to keep to my promise. Like I said, I was coming live, so I had to do it. So words and actions have consequences. Pausing before reacting can prevent unnecessary conflict and regret. So make sure the next time when you are pissed up, when you're angry, don't talk. Even somebody hits your car, come back, or you hit somebody's car, don't talk. Just be calm and listen. And then finally, health is wealth. Take care of your body. I love this. Poor health choices today will cost you later. Eat well, exercise, and get enough rest to avoid preventable disease that can bring future suffering. This is something we don't need to overemphasize. So when was the last time you went to the hospital to do your check? When was the last time you did your health checks? My wife worked in the hospital, and she constantly talk about that, even to me. And so you want that's common sense. Nobody needs to be reminding you to do health checks. Like seriously, it is your body, it is you, and you own it, and you're going to give an account of it. So you just have to be intentional about that. At times I feel guilty about, at times I don't do my health checks as often as I'm supposed to do. But again, at least once in a while I do that. And so the point I'm making here is that we have to do our health checks even when nobody's reminding us to do that, because it's about you, it's about us. And so common sense is that if you know that this is the right thing to do, go do it. So if you want to do your health check, come on, go and do it, if that's what you want to do. And that is going to save you. Imagine that you're building a career and you're only focusing on that career you're building. You know your health checks, you know any other thing, my friend, how will you survive? Now, if after a few years after the career is already like doing so well, and you fall into illness or sickness because you failed to do some health checks at a particular time you're supposed to do it, what will become of that career? Of course, the career will have to die, because there are principles that you have to uphold to. The principle you have to uphold to, and if you don't uphold to this principle, you will not get the result. So life is principle. Life is full of principles, and you have to respect these principles in order to be able to produce what you're expected to produce out of life. So there's a law in physics we call the law of entropy. So the law of entropy states that everything that you abandon dies a natural death. So it means that if you abandon your health, it will die a natural death. So you don't spend your time building a career and forgetting about your health. And guess what? Your health would die. Your health would die. So you don't want that to happen to you. You want, in as much as you're building your career, you also want to have a good health that will sustain, give you the strength and the energy even as you build your career. And so remember the words of Voltaire: common sense is not common. I want to think about that and make sure that you practice some of these things we have discussed in this conversation. So number one, trust and watch out for the patterns. So don't trust what people are saying, but trust what they are doing or what they're able to do. Number two, don't spend money you don't have. It means that you have to plan your expenses before you do that. Number three, choose your circle wisely. You are the average of the highest of the 5 people you spend your time with them. So watch out for the people you bring into your circle. And then number four, think before you speak. So think before you speak, because words are dangerous. They can create, they can destroy. So be careful how you use words. And finally, health is wealth. So if you want to know, if you don't take your health serious, you only realize that health is wealth when you're in the hospital and you have no way out to work, and you're having projects in your mind, things you have to do ahead, and you're like, how am I going to do all of that? So my friend, take your health seriously, and I definitely have to take mine seriously too. That by I exercise obviously every day and do a lot of stuff. More often I go to the gym, I do some exercises, and you have to do that. Why do we do that? It's because of the work we are doing. It's because of the assignments we have to do. So for you to execute your assignment, you have to keep fit so you can be able to meet up with all of the expectations. That was it for today. My name is Oliver Nshom. If that helps you, great. I'll be happy that I helped. So that was it. God bless you. I'm looking forward to see you on Tuesday. Today I was home, and hopefully Tuesday we'll be discussing from the studio. Thank you so much, Victor, my friend from Liberia. Looking forward to have you again next time. And to those who will be watching later, I hope you find some sense in what I just shared. Okay? So, God bless you and bye.